A very good morning to all of you. Well, I am here to discuss Hindi debating what's inside, and by this I would be basically dealing with what's the status quo of Hindi debating in India at present. Along with it, I would be basically focusing upon the level of Hindi debating in colleges, universities across India, and then after I would go on to show how it has varied from time to time, what measures need to be taken as the ad hoc measures to rectify some of the errors or some of the errors which are continuously happening in the Hindi debating circuit. So the aim of the paper is basically to discuss the modus operandi of Hindi debating, how it runs in the country, and to discuss its peculiarities, how peculiar it is from the English debating circle, what are its pros and cons, what peculiar problems does it face. Again, I would go on to compare Hindi debate with English debating in terms of the structure of the debate, topics and approach to debate, level of argumentation, a structure of and formats of debate. Next, I would also be discussing, and it would be very much centered over that debate, advocacy, and how Hindi debating both are highly correlated in country at present. Furthermore, I will also go on to detect the root of the problems, that whatsoever problems in the second slide that discusses peculiarities and problems. So whatsoever problems I would be letting you know at that point of time, I would go on to elaborate that what are the roots of such problems and what the suggestive measures are. Next, I would discuss why Hindi debating in India particularly needs revival. The first slide, modus operandi. So basically, who are the institutions or the stakeholders who organize Hindi debating in country? You could broadly classify them into three kind of institutions: education institution, which includes colleges, universities, other things; government agencies, state governments, central governments, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, and Ministry of Food and Safety Measures, etc. They do organize debates in order to enlighten the masses and empower the masses. And next are the non-governmental functionaries, which involve basically NGOs, and at times HUDCO, SEBI and other banks have also taken a lead to organize Hindi debates and to encourage debate. Now, what are the categories of debates which happen in Hindi basically? After the NLS thing which the previous speaker has discussed, parliamentary format of debate has also picked up in Hindi. Now in Delhi University only at present 3 colleges go on to organize such kind of parliamentary debate, the oldest one being organized by the KMC. Next there is Motilal Nehru. Another college has recently started organizing Hindi parliamentary debates is LSR. So, and these are the colleges which organize parliamentary format of debate. And next is the conventional one. So in conventional ones, what we find that there are a limited number of conventionals which are exclusive for Hindi speakers only. Most of the conventionals are for bilingual speakers, so the Hindi wing gets a chance to participate then and there. What are the how the topics are selected? Besides these two broad categories, what I have recently observed in the past 2 years, that turncoat debates which are bilingual are also taking place, thus providing Hindi debaters a chance to come up with to basically taste the new kind of format of debate. Furthermore, extempores also do happen in the university and in other parts of the nation. So they are basically bilingual in nature, and there you get the chance to participate. Next is the topics. The selection of topics is primarily determined by the format of the debate. If it's extempore, they usually go on for one-word topic, truth, student politics, this kind of thing. But as soon as you move to higher level of debating which needs exclusive research, exclusive knowledge about such kind of things, there you find that topics are much more broader in the sense that they include lot many principles, clashes over principles, counter arguments. So in parliamentary debates, what we find in Hindi debating in particular, that topics are usually selected in which clash over principles is much more general and is very much visible there, that you could really identify that in this motion there is a clash over the principle such as say it is the right to liberty or there is a right to expression, that over that right to expression there will be a clash. Is the right to expression absolute or is it not? So such kind of clashes are seen, and such kind of motions are usually picked up in Hindi parliamentary format of debate. Next is in the conventional one, what I have recently seen in the Hindi debating circle is that topics which are related to freedom of expression and media, and topics related to media have picked up and I really do not understand, but one of the prime reasons could be that media houses are sponsoring such kind of events. That's why much more debates in the university are going over whether the media is free or what kind of freedom should it enjoy or it should not. Next slide is what are peculiarities and problems. Now, when I say about the size of the community, the Hindi debating community is quite broad because Hindi is spoken widely in the country. So from northern belt to the central India and in parts of western India, you always get a bulk of people who understand Hindi and they do try to debate in Hindi. So the size of community is very, very broad, but then also it's very, very diffused. Diffused it is in the sense that they do not come collectively. You just can't find a bunch of Hindi debaters associating, or you just can't find a bunch of Hindi debaters which are socializing or are sitting in a room like this. So, and furthermore, there is one peculiarity with this, that there is always a certain section of people, there is always a certain section of community, Hindi debating circle, which make their presence feel in each and every tournament. So they are the prominent players in such kind of events happening in and around the country. Adjudication parameters. Now the adjudication parameters is peculiar in the sense that there is no homogeneity in the parameters which would be selected for judging a team or judging a speaker. What we find that from competition to competition, from if say the Department of Economics organize a debate, say the Department of Psychology organize a debate, so their parameters to judge the debate is greatly varying, and this could be really seen as the prime reason behind this could be seen that inflow of teachers as adjudicators. I don't doubt their capability to teach, but of course being a subject expert and several teaching years experience doesn't make them equally good to basically judge a debate. So over that thing, you could find that different adjudicators have different kind of preferences upon which different kind of results come out. And in this vicious circle, what happens? Participation rates are high usually, and participants in a way to lure the adjudicators go on to basically break the norms of the debating. They use poetry, they use flowery language, etc., so as to just convince the adjudicators that they are the best one there, and it basically distorts this thing. Now, what are the basically general problems associated with it? Now, there is one more peculiarity in Hindi debating circle and media. What has been usually seen that most of the Hindi debaters who have earned name and fame in the university in having their 3 years of graduation or say post-graduation also, usually end up working in media houses later on. I really can't find out the reason, but they are usually seen working with media houses. So these are some of the peculiarities associated with Hindi debating circle. Now, what are the basically problems associated with it? There is a severe lack of debating events. So what causes? So what ramifications does this have on us? Now, this causes a larger threshold, a larger gestation period for newcomers who want to learn and experience debating. Because if there are less number of debates going on in and around the university or in the country, which does not, and if they are less in number, what happens that your capacity or your adaptability to learn debate or to learn logics, how to clear a debate, how to make arguments, etc. things, it takes a longer time for you to build upon those qualities, those soft skills. That's why. Now, there is a severe lack of debate education in the debating circle also. Now, by this I mean that, as I mentioned you earlier also, that education parameters are peculiar to Hindi debating circle. So, in the same way, this causes that since there is a lack of proper debate education, people go on to use flowery language, they use poetry. Though this tendency has reduced in the recent years because of advent of parliamentary debating in university, and much more focus on bilingual debates where English debaters come equipped with logics. So the Hindi fellow, to compete them, also have started shifting from flowery language to using logic as their weapon while debating. So this tendency has reduced, but then also we do not have a proper debate education kind of thing available for such fellows. That's why they at times deviate from proper debating norms. Now, furthermore, there is a lack of cooperation from English society. The parallel running societies in most of the colleges in the Delhi University or in some other university of northern India where Hindi is spoken is that English debating society is always and always considered to be separate from Hindi debating society. Now and furthermore, as the English societies have well equipped and are having more access to resources and basically they have their seniors, or basically they have their alumni members, they have connections in and around from where they could learn debating. Now this lack of cooperation from English society to their fellow Hindi members basically makes them basically puts them on a lower ground than them, because English fellow, if they learn, if they go to NLS or if they go to somewhere else and they learn from their experiences. Now furthermore, as I told you that there is a lack of debating events, so Hindi people don't get to debate so much. Now they don't get to debate so much, and furthermore the English ones who are debating, they do not tend to cooperate with them. So the overall thing is the overall result stems out to be that Hindi debating falls somewhere at a lower level in comparison to English society, in comparison to English debating. Now there is a severe lack of funds also. When you go to an organization, you say that we are organizing a Hindi debate, they simply refuse to pay you, and they will make some excuses. The only dominant organizations which go on to support you are the Hindi Sahitya Sabha or say the Delhi Sahitya Parishad, but they themselves are running always. They themselves run so. They always have this problem that we don't have our own funds. How would we sponsor Hindi debating and other events? So these are some of the peculiarities and problems associated with it. Now Hindi debating versus English debating. Now when you compare these both. What you could basically consider 4 parameters. Participants, who are they? At times you will find a marginal number of people who overlap in both kinds of debate, who are proper bilingual speakers. So they are quite few in number, but mostly what happens is that people stick to usually one language while debating. Next is the tournaments. Now when it comes to tournament, the scale, organization, participation rate and number of tournaments are much more favorable for English debating rather than compared to Hindi debating. In English debating you got 3-on-3, 2-on-2, other models adopted by recently in St. Stephen's MOOCMAM. They have adopted to a new form of parliamentary debating in which they have their own certain rules and regulations. Now this kind of flexibility is not available in the Hindi debating circle because of limited number of competitions which are going in and around the university. Furthermore, if we experiment on those limited number of competitions, there is a fear that the ongoing participants may back out, that no, we are not comfortable competing in this new kind of format. So that's why we have to still stick to the old models, or say 2-on-2 format of debating in Hindi parliamentary also. Next is coverage and penetration. Now when we talk about coverage, basically topics and approach to debate. In topics and approach to debate, what we find that English parliamentary debates do debate over models as well as principles. So they basically resemble much more to the practical things going on. While in Hindi debating we find a lack of discussion over models and technicalities of how it would be implemented or how such and such policy could be implemented. This might be due to the limited number of events or some other peculiarities associated with the Hindi debating circle. And next is the coverage and penetration. When we talk about this, what we learn that in terms of coverage, English debates do get a wide amount of coverage because several events happen in the country, and these kind of events happen, sponsors are there, so they get big coverage. Now in terms of penetration, I won't believe that they go on to influence, as the earlier speaker also admitted that these debates happen and they end there only. You know that the effect of debate outside the debating hall, how much it is not very much visible in both the circles of debating. But in Hindi debating, you could be very much sure of this fact that at least the kind of debates that happen in the university, they have influence on the outside lives, because I have seen that these people, when they get involved with media, they do work for social causes or they go on for advocacy. So this thing is quite visible in the Hindi debating circle. Now what are the advantages of Hindi debate? In this section, I will basically let you know. See, it has mass appeal in the sense that it's widely understood in India. Everybody almost understands Hindi except for a few states. It's versatile in the sense that in Hindi debate, we don't argue you to debate completely in Hindi. You could use the language, you could use the normal conversational language to depict what you are trying to say. Now furthermore, the Hindi debating has also one advantage, that since Hindi has several dialects associated with it, now these local dialects, when used or when incorporated in Hindi debating during parliamentary debates or during conventional debates, they do add to the flavor, because it brings out the fact that how different portions in India do react to certain kinds of things or do think over certain kinds of issues. So its mass appeal is basically related to these things only, that it is versatile in the sense that Hindi is, you just can't say ki food, or you just can't use ki you don't use Vidyalaya for school. So you basically allow that person to incorporate school in Hindi debating also. So that versatility and that adaptability of Hindi debating has basically allowed it for its mass appeal. Now, advocacy and Hindi debating. Now, it's the most popular medium because it's widely understood and widely exercised also. Now, widely exercised, I will quote 2-3 personal experiences with some of the NGOs. Now, these NGOs are basically trying to harp upon, as in the Prava is an NGO located in Delhi only. They organize youth panel discussions. So they basically use debate as a medium of advocacy to bring awareness among the masses, and they are quite influential in nature also. Some of the other NGOs in Odisha, Jharkhand and Bihar, they too are also engaging in such kind of discussions. Furthermore, for school children in particular, Oxygen is an NGO. It has its headquarters in Patna. It has opened Delhi chapter also. They too are engaging in such kind of discussions where they are trying to discuss various aspects of school education and education system in India. So you see that these kinds of discussions and debate, basically discussions are advocacy where you use debate to make people understand what they need, what their requirements are, what they are granted for, what their rights are, and it has its deep outreach. NGOs, in fact the government also practices advocacy, because when the Ministry of Consumer Affairs shows you that there is a Sayani Rani coming on TV and she is telling you that you are supposed to ask for your bills. So that's basically a method of argumentation, that is basically advocacy, that's basically advocating debate, or that's basically making you educated, empowering you to ask you for your bills and other things. So I mean that advocacy in India is largely and heavily influenced by Hindi debating circuit, and Hindi is the most proper language, which could be seen utilized in advocating purposes. Now, what are the roots of problems and the suggested measures? Now, the primary thing is the bifurcated debating societies. As I mentioned you earlier, that you see that there are two kinds of societies, English debating society in particular and Hindi debating society in particular. Now, this bifurcation leads to an imbalanced kind of growth in Hindi debating and the English debating circle both. Because as per my knowledge, only and only in Delhi University is a single college which has its both debating societies associated together, that's KMC. Now in other colleges when we go, we find that no, there is no such kind of Hindi society, or there is no such kind of debating society in Hindi in particular. So you see that these bifurcations have led to weakening of Hindi society. Now, there is one more severe problem associated with it, which I think is medium of instruction in schools and higher institutions, example, law schools. Now, this concept of debating and making debate your passion basically stems from the fact that debates are economically also beneficial in the way that if you debate well, you have to be a good lawyer and you earn more money, and so in the way of doing so, the law schools have promoted a kind of debating in which they focus more upon competitive kind of debates, or that tendency has basically emancipated from there only, that how you go and you argue sharply and how you win that debate, and that has basically led to more debates. That has basically let us forget the two other aspects of debate education and advocacy of debates. Now, medium of instruction in schools and higher institutions is English in India, as we know. Now, this has caused a severe problem. Now, if you study a subject, say economics, psychology or anything in English, the time you gonna argue, in fact, say there is a term in economics, deadweight loss associated with a tax. So deadweight loss associated with a tax, now when you argue, you can't resemble or you can't find the exact technical translation of deadweight loss in Hindi. So the textbooks and other things which are, the government of India and the CBSE curriculums which are basically designed considering English books and English materials, references, are also responsible for such kind of lack of participation in Hindi debating and other things. Now, this lack of awareness among Hindi debaters. Now, this is the problem which has resulted only from, this is an institutional failure in India. Why? Because you see that all the good schools in terms of the fact that they produce good results, their students go abroad or their students are IAS, IPS, and they are the top rankers in the country. Now, what they stick to the medium of instruction as English. Now, the government schools which have Hindi as their medium of instruction are having very poor infrastructure. They do not have such participation rates from their students. They do not have basic amenities. They do not have good teachers. They do not have a check on what kind of education they are imparting to their students. So the level of education and what kind of thing you have been imparting to your fellow students basically shapes up what kind of ideas and thoughts would appear in his mind. So that kind of awareness lacks among Hindi debaters, because those who choose to debate in Hindi are basically coming from such kind of backgrounds, usually in the university at present. Though a few others who choose to debate in Hindi despite coming from an English background or despite coming from a, say, CBSE curriculum or ICSE curriculum, they are quite less in number in comparison to the persons who are basically forced to debate in Hindi because of lack of such kind of facilities before. Now, what could be the suggestive measures? The suggestive measures are, you have to first combine the societies. You just can't run an English debating and Hindi debating society separately unless and until you combine them. That VAD and basically that in a combined society you could reach an final conclusion that how the society would work jointly, and these things would basically help to evolve, would help in the evolution of Hindi debating also. Now, forming association of debaters. Now, as if by this I mean that there is in India in particular, there is a sizable number of population who speaks Hindi. Now, furthermore, the demographic dividends tell us that the Hindi belt is the one which would be driving the level of population in India in the upcoming 20 to 30 years. Now, what that compels us to think that more number of youth would be in the Hindi debating, in the Hindi speaking belt. So these youth, when are considered causes of change or are looked upon as elements of change in the future, so debate advocacy or making them learn debate would basically help us to achieve a better democracy and help us to achieve good kind of things. So such kind of association and their formation is quite required. Now, transition of English debaters into Hindi ones. By this I mean that more number of bilingual debaters should come up, in the sense that persons who debate in English should try up speaking into Hindi also, and this would basically resolve the issue of that there is a lower level of argumentation, or the argumentations are not well equipped among Hindi debaters. This would be solved. Now, proper debate education and accreditation. Now, more sponsors. This is the biggest thing, because if people don't pop up money into Hindi debating, no English debaters, in fact, or no good Hindi debaters would be interested in continuing debating Hindi. Now, this is the last slide of the presentation. Why Hindi debating needs revival in India? As I mentioned earlier, that large segment of population is associated with it, and the demographic indicators show that the Hindi belt would consist of largest number of youths in the country in the upcoming 20 to 30 years. Now, if these youths are considered as elements of change, or they are considered that they would bring better democracy through raising their voices, raising their opinions, by being more participatory in the democratic events or democratic happenings, then you see that Hindi debating, because debating is the skill by which you learn to logically argue things. So if that kind of tendency is imbibed among them or is instilled among them, it would help us achieve a better democracy. Now, furthermore, there is another important thing, that it could bridge the gap between rural and urban India through debate education. Now, the rural and urban India are quite different in this sense only, because if you don't get a common medium of interaction in which you could express yourself to them, or basically you could advocate what is right and what is wrong to them in Hindi, then it would help them to come at par with you guys also. Or basically it would help the rural population to come at par with the urban population in terms of being an informed consumer or being an informed decision maker. Next is, it would empower the masses and civil societies, as more educated and more logical people in the country would basically help you achieve good governance and other things. And basically, since Hindi debating has a vast number of population associated with it, because there is a large number of people who speak Hindi and they can do well in Hindi debating, it would allow you to experiment a lot in that sector. I mean, you could try out new formats, you could try out new things, you could do wonders if you have a large population associated. You could form a small samples and then you could do experiments, what kind of format is suitable, what kind of format is unsuitable. With this, I rest my presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Nitish. Does anybody have any questions? There's one in the back.
Oh.
Stay there. Two questions.
Yes,
One,
sure.
you mentioned lack of tournaments. I'm just wondering if you can give a better sense of like how many tournaments there are in a year that a university student would be able to go to. Second is, you mentioned some of the overlap between English debating, Hindi debating, and how you wanted kind of more people from the English circuit to sort of transition to the Hindi circuit. I'm wondering if there are any rules or like printed materials that are translated from English into Hindi, rules or curriculum or any training materials that would aid in that.
The first one was regarding, pardon, the first
The
one
number
was,
of tournaments.
oh yeah,
How large is
see.
the circuit now?
In University of Delhi only, there are 3 parliamentary debates exclusively held in Hindi, and this is the statistics of the past 2-3 years. Now, as far as exclusive Hindi debating events are considered, they are quite relatively less in number in comparison to English debating. Now, even if most of the competitions which are organized by particular departments, say Department of Commerce in any college, or say Department of Psychology in any college, they usually come up with topics in English. And furthermore, if you want to contact them that is the event bilingual, even if they say yes to you, they don't have exact translation, because they have a stereotype notion that if this debate is going to happen, it must happen in English. So in this sense, and furthermore, outside Delhi, I will let you know, there is one big tournament to be which is organized by a medical institution in Dehradun. Another one is organized in Gandhi University in Ahmedabad. Another one is organized by Aligarh Muslim University. So I mean, having a such large population associated with Hindi debating, the number of events which then take place exclusively in Hindi is relatively less, and it hampers the learning experiences of such kind of.
Okay, but let's say I'm a university student in Delhi and I want a parliamentary debate in Hindi as much as possible. How many tournaments could I go to?
3 tournaments at max. And that too, one tournament classes is one of the conventional, which is national in nature, with Dehradun, which usually happens in Dehradun. Sure.
You talked about, when we were comparing English and Hindi debate, you talked about a lack of discussion over models and principles in Hindi debate. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
See, a parliamentary debate basically rests upon 2 kinds of things largely. The one is model-based debate, and the other one is principle-based debate. In principle-based debates, you basically argue that how the principle that there is right to life is not absolute in nature or is absolute in nature. Now, when a model-based debate comes up, in which in that debate you have to basically come up with substantiation of your principles, that upon these principles, building our case upon these principles, we are putting forward a model in which the government, one of the teams is called government and the other one is opposition, in which the government goes on to elaborate what would be the modus operandi of that model. Okay, so these are the things. In English parliamentary debates, we find such kind of discussions, though they are not very, I mean, I haven't seen much discussion, but yeah, relatively in comparison to Hindi debating, there are more model-based debates also occurring in English parliamentary debates. Model-based debates are supposedly tough than principle-based debate, because you have to substantiate your principles also, then justifying your principles you have to substantiate your models also, and you have to take care of the fact that your model doesn't leave any loophole, because then it would be considered a floating model in your case. Yes, sure.
I just want to follow from there and probably connect to what you said with regards to most Hindi debates being associated with media houses. Now you said that there is a greater emphasis on rhetoric and on poetry in Hindi debates. Do you think there is a certain similarity even in the Indian media debates that when you see probably a Hindi debate like a Rajat Sharma show on Aapki Adalat, it is more rhetoric and more poetic as opposed to say a Devil's Advocate show by Karan Thapar in English? Do you think there is it trickles down or they're more dependent on each other?
I won't say that it trickles down. I would say it's a dynamic kind of, not dynamic, it's a static equilibrium in which there is an inflow from both the sides. Now, when you say that there is much more of poetry, rhetoric in Rajat Sharma's episodes, because I mean, you know, that basically stems, or that basically opens up a new debate what media is doing currently, you know. So I won't go on this, but of course, a large number of Hindi debaters ending up in media houses. I also in fact put that in my presentation that they are later on they could be seen they are much more involved with NGOs and social awareness and such kind of campaigns. So I won't say that exactly those those Hindi debaters who end up doing a internship or job or setting up their career with a media house go on to basically argue such kind of things, because at the present the level of Hindi such kind of tendencies have reduced, and I have seen Hindi debaters in particular condemning such kind of moves. If you are a regular reader of Hindi newspapers, then you might find counter arguments of such kind of episodes which are telecasted. Yes,
I
sure.
don't really have a question, just an observation. But I'm sure we can continue later on after your speech as well. But I think I'll mention something here for the benefit of everybody. You seem to repeat this point several times in your presentation that we can't have two separate societies, you mean debating clubs or unions, one with Hindi, another with English. So you are sort of proposing that we should join them and work together. Well, based on my experiences and observations in Malaysia, where I was studying, I feel that Hindi, as you said, being the national language, being most popular, a lot of people, there's a lot of public who's associated with, who understand with it. Maybe the reason you're prompted to say that we should join the societies together because you, being from Hindi society, look up to the English society and feel that that's more successful, and you feel the way forward is to join them. But this need not be true. If Hindi has its own demand, it can create its own niche, and it can have its own demand, and you can at least emulate them in what they are doing in the English debate. But I feel joining in a way would be disastrous. Because then, again, you said the problems would be there. They'll say, yes, it's a bilingual debate, but again, people will be looked down upon for speaking in Hindi, and still preference would be for English. So I would say, we can discuss more about it, maintain Hindi debating as a separate entity, continue to evolve, and if it has really that much of demand, it should surpass English debating. I mean, in Malaysia, we have, of course, English debating is quite popular. Then we have Malay debating. What happens in Malay debating, that's the national language there. That there's a Royal Malaysian National Universities debate, the Royals. So there they have two separate parallel going on, Malay debating and English debating. So each has its own prestige and its own excitement. So the winner of the Royal Malaysian Universities debating, the Malay one, has a lot of demand, who probably end up going into the political parties later on. So the political parties are waiting, who is the winner, who is our next spokesperson, then will go through the ranks there. So I don't see there's anything wrong if people, winners from Hindi debate, go to Indian media. But I think let's not focus so much on joining. Rather try to emulate and see what they are doing and develop a separate niche. We'll discuss more on it later.
I would like to substantiate over this. Just a slide. I will discuss it more with you.
Yeah, we'll have time for an open forum to get into that,
Yeah.
that discussion.
I was just trying to
Two or
put
three
this,
minutes.
for a movement or for a thing to go ahead, there are two kinds of things. You need a certain amount of amplitude, that there is a certain section of people joining you each and every year. So you need to nourish them. For them, joining with English debating is not required at least. But to Hindi debating to reach next levels, and the excellent Hindi debaters who want to pursue their, or who want to sharpen themselves more, so such kind of association is required. And my personal experience tells me that I find myself at advantage from fellow Hindi debaters because of the fact that in my college both the societies are associated. So that's why for amplitude, that that new freshers are coming up, to nourish their skills, you need not require, or you got a pool of persons who are excellent Hindi debaters, and they will nourish themselves as good as possible. But basically, when you associate them, you see that there is a lot kind of flow from both the sides, Hindi wing and English wing goes there. So because there are excellent Hindi debaters and there are excellent English debaters, so when they associate, I think thesis, antithesis and synthesis might occur.
Cooperation.
Yeah.
Okay, Aditi, one quick question.
Yeah, it's just a question. I just wanted to know what the Hindi debating scene was like in the secondary schools. If there is any Hindi debate in secondary schools, or is it all college or university level?
In schools, what my observations are, during my school life and what I collect from others also, that it depends on which town you are studying in. in that town there might be an NGO which works upon the youth panel or advocating social changes and asking you to be a part of it. So as I mentioned, you Prava is one of such NGOs with whom I had interacted. Oxygen is a movement, such kind of NGO with whom I had interacted. Now furthermore, in schools, what my observations, and they are very sharp and clear, that in schools, in the name of debate, people do speech competition. Who could, give a better delivery of things, who could give a better, who could basically use a flowery language to present his or her arts, who could use some of the big poets, 3-4 lines, Dushyant Kumar, Nargis, whatsoever.
The last thing I wanted to ask, just curious about, other than the structures and language, technical terms that are available in English and Hindi, as someone who's debated in both Hindi and in English, is there something fundamentally different between the structure of the language that makes it more comfortable or less comfortable to debate in that language, if you're equally comfortable speaking it?
The last statement that you put, that if somebody is equally comfortable,
Yeah.
that never happens with anyone. Let me be very frank.
Fair enough.
And you got an advantage in either of the language, and then you feel more comfortable in talking to that language. So, and basically you just can't answer this question directly that you reached at that point. It basically depends how your past education was, what
Yeah.
kind of textbooks you had gone through, what kind of teachers you had interacted with, what kind of school you were in, were you in government school or were you in some private school, where you followed some CBSE or where you followed some Rajasthan textbook. So it basically depends on that kind of thing.
Okay, alright, thank you very much.